Cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Never forget that at its core, Pokemon is about a relationship between two beings, different but equal, who overcome challenges together and who need each other to win.
But how do you honor that relationship? What's the best way to respect it? This week on the decks, we're covering a legendary Pokemon who will show us that the answer couldn't be simpler. Graciousness. Another great episode full of trivia and strategy starts right now.
Huh?
What?
Well, what did you think?
Well, it was another great legendary intro, but whose sultry Scottish voice was that reading the Emerson quote?
Who was it? Didn't you recognize him? It's none other than HoodlumScrafty. I had him calling to do some voiceover work about Shaymin. It's pretty good, right?
Hey Kells, Alex, great to be here.
Hi, Callum. What's your game here, bro?
What? Come on, Shaymin's his favorite legendary. Plus, who else would I ask? He's great.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't want to write a whole episode.
Knew it. You're just another hoodlum.
Scrafty! Oh!
Just read the lines.
Okay. Shaymin's a gratitude Pokemon from Generation 4. He's a little hedgehog, and I mean that quite literally because he is so darn tiny and he has a hedge like the plant version on his back. Hilarious.
Yeah, it's literally the smallest legendary Pokemon there is and also one of the rarest. Outside of event giveaways, it's only ever been seen in Sinnoh's Flower Paradise event area. Such a pretty place though.
The name Shaymin with the I and an extra Y could possibly come from the word shaman with an A, which refers to a person who can perform magic and access spirits. But it is much more likely to be related to the Hebrew word shamayim, which means heaven or sky, and it could be related to his alternative sky form.
Shaymin also has a strange relationship with an item known as the Gracidia flower, as Shaymin changes into its sky form and gains the power of flight as it blooms. Maybe it's supposed to be kind of like a springtime fawn fairy? I don't know.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, he definitely looks a lot more like a dog or a deer than a hedgehog in sky form. And look at that little flower scarf he's got. He's like the Red Baron Snoopy. Way too cute.
Like we said earlier, Shaymin lives in the Flower Paradise, an island that can only be reached once you inscribe what you're most thankful for onto a sacred white rock, north of Route 224 in Sinnoh. It's typically a special event only area, but if you're a clever little hoodlum like me, there's a few ways around this using glitches.
Most famous of these glitches is the surf glitch. In Aaron's room at the Elite Four, the door to the room can be surfed through, which breaks the game and allows the player to just walk around pretty much wherever. It's pretty cool stuff.
Using the pedometer app on the PokeKellz, smart players can count their steps and travel to Flower Paradise or New Moon Island. You can catch yourself a Shaymin and a Darkrai, but it can corrupt your game, so for crying out loud, just write what you're grateful for on the rock, you ungrateful little.
Well, okay, that got a little heated there for a sec. Everybody okay?
Yeah, man, it's crazy on the other side of the surf door.
Okay, well, how about we put all that behind us now and transition smoothly into our Legendaries Only segment, the Pokemon Creation Myth.
Well...
Okay, yeah, well, etc.
Callum with the tropes.
According to the Pokedex, Shaymin can instantly purify any polluted area and transform it into a lush field of flowers. Shaymin sense feelings of gratitude and will burst into bloom if hugged by someone with a gracious heart. It is even said that Shaymin created Floromatown when someone gave thanks for all the blessings of nature, and it will only appear to a trainer after they give thanks at the White Rock for their Pokemon journey.
But I don't get it, there's not really any sort of real world myth here, so why so thankful? Surely it's not just some weird kind of feel-good message, is it? Though I guess that's not totally awful.
I don't think so. See, people and Pokemon have lived with one another for a long time. There have been wars, the releasing of ancient evils, even the near destruction of space-time as we know it, all almost exclusively caused by humans.
Yeah man, that's a raw deal, but that doesn't quite make sense. Why would Shaymin then exist to say thank you? You don't think he's supposed to be sarcastic, do you? That'd be sort of lame.
No. Remember, one of the main themes of Pokemon is conservation. We're always being reminded that we need to respect the environment, the creatures that live there, and one another, to form a bond with those that share our planet with us. Shaymin is the reminder that the mistakes of humanity, war-torn lands, pollution, and environmental destruction, can be reversed if the bonds with Pokemon remain strong.
Okay, So that's why we people have to show so much gratitude. It's the Pokemon's world, not the human one.
Exactly, which brings me to my next hunch that humans were absolutely not here first, and that perhaps they don't even belong in the Pokemon world at all. But more on that in the next legendary episode.
Whoa. That last part sounded a bit ominous. Dangerous, even.
Oh, don't worry about her. She just gets super excited about in-depth Pokemon talk.
It's true, especially about legendaries.
See? But speaking of battling,
No one.
it's time for
said
some Gen
any-
6 Shaymin battle strats.
Pokemon! Don't worry, Callum, he's only a little crazy.
Shaymin's actually kind of a beast, and thanks to Seed Flare, he should have any player worth their salt shaking in their boots. Start with a timid one, and super train it in special attack and speed.
For this strategy, the plan is get in, equip the choice specs to boost your special attack even higher, and then just spam the same powerful attack over and over until you switch out, or unfortunately get KO'd.
Like we said, Seed Flare's gonna be the main stab move here, but make sure to round it out with a nice coverage move like Dazzling Gleam and Psychic.
And finally, when Shaymin's on the ropes, it's time for Healing Wish to bring back a wall or a sweeper who's been barely hanging on, just like new. Serious business, guys.
And that's it, Shaymin, the living embodiment of a promise between people and Pokemon.
No random thoughts this week?
The episode's already pretty long as it is, but if you really do want to see some more Shaymin strats, just click the link in the description below to see the article on thatonevideogamer.com.
Yeah, we even had Callum do a little interview with us that you can check out too.
For more legendaries, click here for a nice playlist, and for more Gen 4 Pokemon, click here. And hey, it's always great to subscribe, and thanks again for coming, HoodlumScrafty.
Thanks to you too, guys.
Aw, look at us all being all sweet to each other. I'm PokeKellz.
I'm Hoodlum
And I'm HoodlumScrafty.
Tune in next week for another wonderful episode of
The Dex.
No. Remember, one of the main things of Pokemon is conservation. Did I say things of Pokemon?
Well, what did you think?
Well, it was another great legendary intro, but who's that sultry Scottish voice that was reading the Emerson quote? Okay.
Whose sultry Scottish voice was that reading this?
Who's sultry? Okay.
The Emerson quote.
But more on that in the next legendary episode. Well, it was another great legendary intro, but who's that sultry Scottish voice reading that Emerson quote? Okay, I get it.